What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are doing another client testimonial. One of our clients, Kyle, just wrapped up his first 6 months inside of the Physique Lab coaching program, and he is down 37 pounds. So I'll go ahead, put those transformation photos down below so you can see exactly what that looked like for yourself. In this video, I wanted to give Kyle an opportunity to share all about his time inside of the Physique Lab coaching program. But before we get into the actual testimonial, I do want to make you aware of two quick things. The first thing is that I do have a video here on YouTube that breaks down the Physique Lab coaching program in excruciating detail. So if you are interested in learning how we get clients like Kyle such amazing results, that is going to be the video to do it. So I'll put the thumbnail down below so you can see exactly what to look for on my page, but I'll also link it as a time card up there and put it down in the video description below. So either click that link or the link down below and it'll take you right to that video. The second thing is that I will also put a link to a calendar down in the video description as well. So if after watching this video, you're like, Ty, I've heard enough. I'm convinced that you guys can help me reach my weight loss goals. I just want to learn how we can make that possible. That is going to be the way to do it. So go ahead, click that link down below and book in a time to chat with either myself or someone from the team. But without further ado, let's get into the video and see what Kyle has to say all about his time inside of the program. What is going on, Kyle? How's your day, man?
Hey, doing great.
Awesome. We love to hear that. Before we dive into the testimonial, I just want to say two quick things. One, appreciate you being a part of the program. And two, I really appreciate you taking some time out of your day to share all about your experience inside of the Physique Lab. So let's start with this, man. Let's rewind to 6 months ago. Where were you when you started the program? And then now having gone through it, where are you now?
So 6 months ago, I was 207 or so pounds, maybe 211, and had high cholesterol, was tired all the time, um, had three kids, and I was just exhausted. Like I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to lay on the couch, watch TV, or read a book. Like I didn't do anything active.
Mhm.
Um, and was was not happy when I looked at myself in the mirror.
Mhm.
I'm just being honest, like
Yeah.
kind of to the point where I was disgusted with what I saw.
Wow.
Um, Now I am sitting at like 164. Um, my cholesterol is perfect, the doctor said. Got my tests a couple months ago, and the doctor asked what I've been doing because it's perfect. Everything's exactly where it needs to be. Um, I'm running circles around my kids. I'm making them turn the TV off now and saying like, let's go for a walk, let's go play outside, let's jump on the trampoline. Um, and so like my life has completely changed. And now like as a family, we're just much more active
Yeah.
because of what I've done.
Sounds like a total 180 from where you
Yep.
were then and where you are now. So that is amazing to hear. I know you're describing a couple of results that you achieved there. What would you say is like the biggest result, like now having gone through the program and that we achieved together?
I mean, for sure the weight loss. I was coming in wanting to lose like maybe 20 pounds, and I think I've lost what 35.
Yeah.
Uh, and like that's awesome. It
Yeah.
was like more than I even thought I could do. Um, and then like I'm so much stronger. I mean, there's weeks where I'll be in the gym doing my weightlifting, and I'm like, why am I lifting this? I need to go heavier.
Yeah.
Like they become like toothpicks over time, you know? Um, and I think for me, the biggest thing so far has been realizing. Um, like all of my excuses in the past really just were excuses. Uh,
Mm,
and that finding things to overcome them has really helped me like move past that.
yeah. So it sounds like it's also a mental transformation as far as where you were 6 months ago. Because now, as you're going through the weight loss journey, you're honoring those commitments that you're making to yourself. I do
Yeah.
tend to notice that with you and other clients. That like once you start getting that snowball going, it just goes into every other area of your life. I know there was a couple other wins that maybe they weren't the biggest wins along the way, but I remember there was one group coaching call you shared that someone from church had asked you if you're on the weight loss drug Ozempic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was a cool win. And also, if I'm remembering correctly, I think on our initial Zoom call, you had shared something about snacking and eating like half a jar of peanut butter every night. Can
Oh
you
yeah,
tell
I could put
everyone
it
watching
down.
now, like what's that like now? Are you snacking anymore? How does that look?
I'm still snacking, but it's like dried fruit.
Mm,
Uh, so it's almost like my calorie tracking almost became a game for me.
mm,
Uh, to where, we'd finish dinner and I'd look at my app and see like, okay, what do I have left to make these rings green, to finish out my day? And like, I'd just sit there on my phone for a few minutes and figure out like, okay, if
yeah.
I have dried apricots, it'll bump me up there and that. And okay, I
Mm,
need a little bit more protein. So let's figure out. It's almost like a puzzle. And my brain just works that way. So like treating it like a puzzle it's a fun thing for me. It is a fun thing and something
yeah.
I'll continue. Um, and all of the tracking helped me realize that most of the time I was eating out of boredom.
Mm,
Uh, and so I was actually thinking about this before we got on the call. Um, one of the things that you talk to us a lot about is prioritizing sleep.
mm,
And I was snacking late at night after my family had gone to bed, and I was probably staying up too late. And so by prioritizing sleep and going to bed earlier, I cut out like a whole window of time where I could be snacking. And so that alone, like, just removed a whole chunk of the day where it was a possibility. And
yeah.
then, yeah, like I said, like to do these little puzzle pieces and figure out, like, okay, today I can have 10 dried prunes and two dried
Yeah.
apricots and one tablespoon of peanut butter.
Yeah.
Uh,
I know
and
there's some people watching who might be like scratching their heads or being like, oh, I would never do that. But what I would say is honestly, the sooner that you can learn this skill and almost make it a game like Kyle has, the better off you're going to be on your weight loss journey because you know exactly where those values are. You're not just mindlessly eating peanut butter or whatever other things you have in the pantry, right? And that's why you saw such amazing results is because you had exceptional nutrition and workout adherence, to be honest. So I'd also say that to anybody watching in the future. Like it's possible for you to get results like Kyle has, but that's come at the price of him being extremely consistent with the things that we've assigned inside of the program. So awesome. I love hearing all of that. I guess let's rewind back to 6 months ago as well. What was it that made you want to sign up in the first place?
like I said, it was like I was at that point where I was just kind of disgusted. Like I had lost weight before. I'd done the up and down thing, like lost 10, 15 pounds and then shot right back up. And my weight just kept creeping up more every time. Um, and I had started following you on Instagram and I was like, there's some stuff here, some challenging stuff. And I knew what I needed to do, but I wasn't going to do it without accountability.
Mm,
Um, and that's what finally pushed me to reach out and start talking to you and say like, okay, it's the time. Plus, turned 40 this summer, so there was kind of that mental like midlife crisis stuff going
yeah.
on. Like, hey, I want to be in good shape when I go into the second half of my life. So,
No, absolutely. And now here we are starting a new decade and you are sounds correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you're in the best shape you've ever been in. Like you
oh,
said earlier,
absolutely.
running laps around the kids, like just
Yeah,
enjoying all of
I'm
the
in better shape than
activities.
I was in high school.
Yeah, that's amazing. So cool. So now that you've gone through the program, I guess what would you say the experience was like on the inside?
Um, I mean, one word I'd use is supportive. Not just from you and the other coaches, but the entire community of guys. Um, I knew that like if I ever had a question or if I had a problem, something I needed people to pray about, I could drop it into the group
Mhm.
channel, and I knew that there would be a group like swarming like flies,
Yeah.
uh, just to support me. Um, and there were some other times where I needed more like one-on-one private support, and so I sent those messages through direct message through the other apps, and the
Mhm.
coaches were just right on it, being like, "Yeah, we've got you." Um, the feedback was awesome because not only was it feedback about nutrition and workouts and things like that, but then like, hey, you said this, I'm gonna pray for that right now.
Mhm.
Um, and that was really big for me.
Yeah. So not just the fitness side of things, but it's also spiritual as well. And that makes me happy to hear as a coach that you found the value and the accountability of the group as well, because really that's what we've been working hard to build around here. And just knowing that that's how you feel on the inside, that it's not just me, it's not just the other coaches, but the entire group of people were there to support each other on the journey. So that's
Yeah.
cool. Thanks for sharing that. I guess what would you say is like the biggest lifestyle change or takeaway now that you have gone through it?
Um, probably consistency with the new habits. My wife and I were just talking about this the other day because we were talking about, since my time in the program is ending, like what do
Hmm.
I need now
Yeah.
so that this just doesn't drop off?
Yep.
Um, and I talked about with her about what I need from her, but for me, it's consistency. It's knowing that if I just keep going and doing what I've committed to myself to do, um, that the results will still be there, both with workout and nutrition. And that's already been a reminder that I've had to make to myself is like, no, no, no. I didn't promise someone else I was going to do this. I promised myself.
Hmm.
Because I think it was just this past week I was supposed to go out and do my run. And it was early in the morning, it was still dark, and I was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Um, and my wife like jokingly said, well, just do it later, or you don't have to do it, um, and I was like, no, no, I've committed to myself. I'm gonna go do this as much as I don't want to right now. I'm gonna go do
Yep.
it. Um, and so like that was one of the things we talked about is like just her, even though she was joking, like, hey, let's maybe not say those jokes because it
Yeah.
becomes that voice in my head
Yep.
again. Um, but yeah, that consistency I think is gonna be the biggest change for me.
Yeah. I think that talks a little bit to what I always say, like motivation versus discipline. I say motivation is acting on those feelings, but discipline is taking the action regardless of your feelings. And it sounds like through the program, you've shifted more from the side of having the motivation to having the discipline and just doing it regardless of how you feel. And eventually, that's the goal of us coaches is to give you the tools when it comes to fitness and nutrition, but also develop those habits and disciplines. So that way, when you do graduate from the program, you're going to be successful in doing it on your own. And it sounds like that is the case here with you. So I'm confident that you'll be able to continue these habits. Kind of a related question here, but I guess what's something that you feel you've learned from the program that you think other people on the outside might be able to benefit from? Just because oftentimes you don't know what you don't know until you actually do it. So is there something that now having gone through it, you're like, oh, this is going to be the golden ticket for anybody who would come into the program in the future?
I mean, it probably the same thing, consistency.
Okay.
Um, I think that's something I hadn't thought about before. Like I'd done different things where, you have a super restrictive diet for
Hmm.
30 days or whatever, or you do 12 weeks of super hard workouts 5 times a week. And on the program, like so much of that was relaxed. I was like, oh, I can eat like a normal person as long as it fits in my macros. And
Hmm.
I think you told me early on, you're like, no, you only need to work out like 3 days a week. Like, chill, dude. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and so that makes it so much easier to be consistent because it's not like, oh, I have to give up half of my life to do this.
Hmm.
It's like, no, no, I've got 3 kids and a full-time job and a wife and a house that I've got to take care of. And like this fits in that and that
Hmm.
works. And so, even and then with the consistency going back, like I had a night last week where I was like, I really want crackers. I'm just going to eat crackers. And my macros were off. And then I was like, you know what? Tomorrow we're back on. Um, and so like letting go of those bad days, not compounding the bad days and being like, well, I ate all the crackers, so now I'm going to have a tub of peanut butter or a tub of ice
Yeah.
cream. Like it's like,
Yep.
no, let's stop at the crackers and move on. Um, and being consistent with not just the day to day, but like resetting after that bad day, which is
Yeah.
I hate the word bad day. It's not a bad day. They were good
Yeah.
crackers.
I mean,
Um,
you enjoyed them. It was one
yeah,
of
but
maybe
it's getting
not.
right back to it.
Yeah,
So
I was gonna say I often say in the program, memories over macros. It sounds like in this case that may not have been as applicable because usually that applies to vacations, anniversary dinners, things like that. But dude, you wanted some crackers? Enjoy some
I wanted
crackers. Like here,
crackers.
here we are down what 36, 37 pounds. Like, did that totally derail your weight loss progress? No, you're still fine. Right, we're
Yeah,
here, but that's another important thing we preach in the program too. As I say, the rule of two: if there's one bad day, quote unquote, or like you miss a workout, don't miss it twice. Don't have a bad day nutritional the second time because it makes it harder and harder to get back on track. And I think you would agree that the supportive community is here to help you get back on track when those days come, because inevitably they will happen over a 6 month period. There's no way you're coming in and 6 months go by where life does not throw a curveball your way.
for sure.
Yeah. And then last question I've got for you here is like, let's say someone has come across my Instagram page, maybe my YouTube channel, whatever it might be. They've learned about the Physique Lab. Maybe they've seen some client testimonials and results, but they're still a little bit on the fence about joining. What would you say to someone like that? And the reason I'm asking this question specifically is because I know in your case, it was something where you were almost exactly of what I just described, but it was something too where like I know the financial situation was a little bit tight. It was going to be a stretch. It was going to be uncomfortable for you, but you did it anyways. And now here you are 6 months later, like in the best shape of your life, enjoying your 40s. Like this is amazing. So what would you say to that type of person? And if there's anything else you want to share about like your story specifically, feel free to do so.
Yeah. So just to start off, like I have to use my monthly fund money to pay for this. But that goes into the what I would say to someone who's on the fence is like you need to make that commitment. You have to have something that is challenging you, whether for me it's finances. Like I said, if I'm paying for this, I know I'm going to do it.
Mhm.
Um, and so, I've committed my monthly household fund money to pay for this, and I'm going to be paying for it for a while, like even after my time in the program is over. But I see that as another way of reinforcing the lifestyle changes because I'm like, instead of letting it drop off, I'm like, no, I'm still paying for it, so I'm definitely
Mhm.
going to do it.
Yeah.
Um, but for me, it's that investment. Like take that investment in yourself. Um, Whatever it is, if it's money, if it's time, if it's accountability, like whatever you need to invest in, do it because life is not as long as you want it to be.
Mhm.
I mean, I feel like I blinked and I turned 40. I mean, it feels like yesterday I was in my 20s eating whatever I wanted and it didn't
Mhm.
matter. And all of a sudden I'm 40 and I'm, you know, hearing the doctor tell me multiple years that my cholesterol is too high and I need to go on medication and all this stuff. And so finally, for me, it was the challenge of are you going to invest enough in yourself financially that you can be healthy? And
Yeah.
that's what I'd say to somebody else is like, are you investing in yourself or not?
Yep. I would say the benefits that come from going through a program like this far outweigh whatever investment the program is worth. So you probably just added, who knows, 5, 10, 15 years to the back end of your life. Who knows what kind of medications or complications could have arose from high cholesterol, things like that. And just for clarification's sake, for anybody who might be watching this on YouTube, fund money by that, he meant like that's something where him and his wife decided, hey, like we trust each other to spend whatever amount, X dollars per month on whatever you want, right? That kind of thing. And it's something where inside of the program here, we do have some extended payment plan options available. So even though he was in the 6 month program, he'll be, still making that payment for a duration beyond the program. And I always say, we don't let finances be the issue. We don't get someone started here at the Physique Lab because we know the type of transformation that we're capable of doing it. And if that's what's holding you back, like, it shouldn't be an excuse. It should be something like what you said earlier on the call. Like, time was an excuse. Finances could be an excuse. There's all the excuses in the world, but once you finally put your foot down and draw that line in the sand, the results that you got are it's doable for anybody. So I appreciate you taking some time out of your day here to share all about your time inside the Physique Lab.
Yeah, no problem.
There you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed hearing all about his time inside of the Physique Lab coaching program. I don't have much else prepared for you today, but before we part ways, I do want to give you two quick reminders. The first one is that down in the video description, there is going to be a link to a video that breaks down the Physique Lab coaching program in excruciating detail and tells you everything you could possibly want to know about how things work and how we're able to get guys like him such amazing results. The second reminder is that down in the video description, there will also be a link to my calendar. So if you're interested in chatting one-on-one directly with me or someone from my team to learn about how you can get started inside of the Physique Lab coaching program, that is going to be the best way to do it. But that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe and turn those notification bells on so you don't miss when I post new videos. And with that, I'll see you